Several years ago, a young man living in a large city lost his wallet on a crowded bus. Inside his wallet were his driver's license, his credit cards, and nearly a week's worth of pay in cash. He searched everywhere, but it was gone. He assumed he would never see it again. And that evening, there was a knock at his door. A stranger stood there holding the wallet. The driver's license, the credit cards, and the cash was still inside. The young man was stunned. He asked, "Why would you go through the trouble of finding me? Most people would have kept the money." The stranger replied, "Because it wasn't mine. It never belonged to me. I was just returning what was entrusted to you." My friends, that simple act of honesty is the heart of stewardship. Everything we have, our time, our talent, and our treasure, ultimately does not belong to us. It is entrusted to us by God. And one day, like the steward in today's gospel, we will be asked to give an account. In the first reading, the prophet Amos speaks very clearly and does not mince his words. He says, "Hear this, you who trample upon the needy and destroy the poor of the land." You see, in Amos's day, merchants cheated customers by using false scales, by raising prices unfairly. Amos continues by saying, "Never will I forget a thing they have done." What Amos condemns is not simply bad economics, it is sin. God sees injustice. He cares about the poor who are exploited. He cares about integrity in business, in labor, and in daily dealings. I don't know about you, but Amos's words makes me think. Do I treat others fairly? Do I look out for my neighbor's good or only my own benefit? Today's psalm answers Amos's warning with hope. He raises up the lowly from the dust. He lifts the poor from a dunghill to seat them with princes. My brothers and sisters, this is who our God is. He is not impressed by wealth or social status. No, rather, he stoops down to lift the forgotten, the humble, and the poor. And if that is the heart of God, then we, as his people, are called to reflect that same heart, raising up the broken, defending the weak, and treating every person with dignity. In the second reading, St. Paul tells Timothy, "I ask that prayers, petitions, and thanksgivings be offered for everyone, for kings and for all in authority." St. Paul reminds us that prayer is not only for our own needs, rather it is for everyone, for leaders, for strangers, even for those that we dislike or mistrust. Now notice, I did not use the word hate, but rather the words dislike or mistrust. And why do I say that? Because God desires that all people be saved. Prayer stretches our hearts. It keeps us from becoming small, selfish, or bitter. It helps us remember that every person, no matter whom, is God's child, as tough as that may seem. And that brings us to today's gospel from Luke. Jesus tells the story of a steward who is about to lose his job. He has mismanaged his master's property. Knowing the end is near, he acts decisively, and he reduces the debts of others so that they will welcome him later. At first, this seems strange. Why would Jesus use a dishonest man as an example? But Jesus makes the point clear. The steward is praised not for his dishonesty, but for his urgency and his cleverness. He acted decisively to secure his future. And Jesus says, if only the children of light the faithful, would show that same urgency about eternal life. Think about it. People will spend years planning their careers, saving for retirement, working tirelessly for financial security. But how much time do we spend preparing for eternity? How decisive are we about our faith, about forgiveness, about generosity, about building God's kingdom? And then comes the piercing conclusion: you cannot serve both God and mammon. Now, before I continue, and Father will appreciate this, the word mammon is an Aramaic term meaning wealth or property. And if you want to know more, I'm sure that Father will gladly expand on its origin. So, either wealth is our tool for good, or it becomes our master. Money is not evil, but if we cling to it as our security, it can easily enslave us. Now let's return to that story about the wallet on the bus. The stranger who returned it recognized a truth: this doesn't belong to me. And that's exactly the Christian perspective. None of what we have, our money, our health, our opportunities, truly belongs to us. It's God's. We are caretakers, stewards. The question is not how much do I own, but how am I using what God has loaned to me? So how do we live this out? 3 practical ideas. 1, examine your own stewardship. Look at your finances, your time, your gifts. Are they aligned with your faith? Do they reflect fairness, honesty, and generosity? 2, pray about everything. Following Timothy, widen your prayer. Include not only your family and friends, but also leaders, the poor, the strangers, and those who challenge you. 3, live with urgency. Like the steward, realize that our time is short. Don't delay forgiveness. Don't postpone generosity. And don't put off the things that build eternal life. Here in the Eucharist, we encounter the greatest example of stewardship. Jesus Christ, rich in divinity, became poor for our sake. He gives his very body and blood. He entrusts himself to us, fragile bread and wine that carry infinite grace. He gives everything, asking us to go and do the same. So today, let's ask, whom do I serve, God or wealth? Do I live as an owner or as a steward? And if we live as faithful stewards, lifting the lowly, praying for all, serving God above all, then when our final account is called, we will hear the words every heart longs to hear. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master.